I'm not in the industry anymore, but I used to run a webcam studio like 5 or 6 years ago. Now it's a lot more common, the idea of OnlyFans, webcam, that kind of thing. But when I was doing it 5, 6, 7 years ago, it was a lot less common.
Pimpin' ain't dead, it just moved to the web. Pimpin' ain't dead, it just moved to the web. Pimpin' ain't dead, it just moved to the web.
12 years ago, you stopped doing this. Mm-hmm. Have they changed the laws in terms of human trafficking and stuff like that since then?
They just switched it to human trafficking. I seen it coming.
Okay.
From a mile away.
So you know what I'm talking about.
From a mile away.
What changed? Explain to me when they started calling it human trafficking, what changed overall?
I mean, the name is scary.
It is. Right.
It's fucking scary. It's fucking scary. From pimping and pandering. I mean,
human trafficking.
A bitch get a loitering ticket and go about her way. But yeah, I seen it taking a turn, and sure enough, man, yeah, here they come.
And luckily, you got out.
Trafficking.
And you got out the way.
The word human. Wow, human.
Yeah.
Human trafficking.
Rest in peace to Pimp C. About 18 years ago, he said, "Pimpin' ain't dead. Pimpin' is officially dead. It's been dead for a minute." You know the Tate brothers was dealing with what they was dealing with in Romania. You know about all that, but they just got hit with very similar charges in the UK. In the UK, bruv. UK prosecutors confirmed charges against Tate brothers, including rap and human trafficking. Prosecutors in the United Kingdom have confirmed that they previously authorized charges, including rap and human trafficking, against a self-proclaimed misogynist. Self-proclaimed misogynist is crazy. The man has never called himself a misogynist. That is insane. And that is journalism. That's journalism now. Like, that's crazy. Andrew Tate and his brother Tristan. That is crazy. Self-proclaimed misogynists. These guys, CNN is on a mission, dog. The UK's Crown Prosecution Service, CPS, which means something completely different in the States, said for the first time on Wednesday that it had authorized 21 charges against the pair. Tristan Tate faces 11 charges, including rap, actual bodily harm, and human trafficking connected to one alleged victim, CPS said, not Child Protective Services. Andrew Tate faces 10 charges, including rap, actual bodily harm, human trafficking, and controlled prostitution for gain. Wow. I say wow because it's like that's separate from human trafficking now. That's crazy. But connected to 3 alleged victims, the statement also said. The dual British and American citizens have previously denied any wrongdoings. A spokesperson for the brothers declined to comment. The CPS statement revealed that British police executed an arrest warrant in 2024 in relation to the charges against the Tates, who were already facing investigations in Romania at the time. The last paragraph is about the past, Romanian stuff. I'm not about to read that. Well, the good thing is, they didn't have a baby oil vault seized, during the process. They didn't have a, basement with 1,000 bottles of baby oil that got seized. So that's great for them. Now, if you've seen how the case is playing out, or the allegations, whatever you want to call it, in Romania, and if you've seen the Andrew Tate interviews, it's basically like they have nothing. And as far as the, witnesses, or not the witnesses, but the, people who are claiming victimhood and things like that, they're full of shit or whatever the case may be, This is all from Andrew Tate's account, probably even Tristan. I haven't seen Tristan speak on it, but Andrew definitely has, and he said pretty much they don't have shit. And he's pointed out a lot of flaws, with what's going on, and that's how come the judge was like, yo, y'all really, if you watch the YSL case, it's very YSL case-ish where, okay, it's clear you guys don't like this public figure. It's clear that you guys are trying to lock him up as a country. It's clear that you're not very welcoming to this guy. And you have a shitty case with a shitty set of allegations to where you can't really pull it together to get this shit over, wrapped up, done with, and get him locked up. Y'all really don't have what it takes to do that. Same with the YNW Melly case, if you've seen that. That doesn't mean that there was no wrongdoing or nothing like that, but it means that you don't have enough evidence and you don't have a solid enough case to lock him up. And from a judicial standpoint, that means innocence. But the thing I keep it real about, the justice system in a lot of countries, especially America, which we're not talking about America, but the UK, not the UK, but Romania. The justice system is flawed. So guilty people don't always go to jail, right? But on the same token, it's flawed because look at how they have been doing him and holding him and, all of this stuff. And they really don't have a solid case. And this shit should have been wrapped up. They locked him up years ago. Why is this dragging on for years? So with all of that being said, the charges are very similar to what happened in Romania. So I kind of expect this to play out the same way. I just look at it as, okay, y'all probably have a couple credible witnesses or victims from the webcam business that they ran. And those are the people who are saying that they got raped, more than likely. And those are the people who are, going to be the foundation for the human trafficking charges. Those are going to be the people who got bodily harmed, et cetera, et cetera. Those are going to be the people that also got prostituted. That's what it's going to be 9 times out of 10. Could I be wrong? Could it be somebody that one of them just dated as far as one of the chicks or something like that? It's possible. That didn't do nothing webcam related. That's definitely possible. But based on the last case and the things that he let us know about the last case, that's pretty much it. So now for some of my thoughts, and I'll try and keep it brief. Anytime I say that, we end up going like 30 minutes. But when I look at human trafficking, when I hear about that and you say, watch it, people are saying, watch out for human traffickers in your area. They're getting women. Watch out for human traffickers. What do you think of when you hear human traffickers? What you think of or what I think of when I hear that and they say, watch out for human traffickers in your area? Because this happens. There are people putting like substances on napkins, under door handles. There are people at Walmart or different department stores watching women go in the store from the parking lot and then doing little shit to their cars and stuff like that to try and fuck with them, right? And by fuck with them, I mean make them pass out, drug them, and things of that nature. You got dudes who are walking around parks and stuff like that. They might have the chloroform in a napkin or whatever, and they see a chick and they try to run up on her and put that shit on her nose and face and stuff like that. All of that stuff. It all boils down to kidnapping. Kidnapping a woman, right? On some taking shit, right? They get the woman, blindfold her while she's unconscious and all this stuff, take her to a whole different place. It could be another country. It could be another state. It could be a basement. Whatever the case is, they take them to somewhere and hide them against their will and then have people be into the sex trafficking. They're having people on some black market shit in this undisclosed location come through, pay money, and they're having sex with women who don't know where they're at, who never leave the room, who don't go outside and stuff like that. That's what I look at human trafficking as. I think that would be what most people think about human trafficking. They think it looks something like that to some degree. Me being from the black community, me growing up knowing about all of this pimping shit and stuff to some degree, like, even seeing it through media over the years, like real pimps, like Pimp Suck Hoes Down and all this stuff, the Pimp Smokey or whatever the dude's name is from Milwaukee, like the documentaries of real pimps and stuff like that. It looks completely different than that. It looks completely different than that. Now, you do have something called guerrilla pimps who beat the women and force them and all of that stuff. And the thing about pimps is they are pretty much against that. They don't salute that. They don't, like, as far as like pimp culture, they don't fuck with the guerrilla pimping at all. That's shameful. But even if you watch movies like The Mac or you watch the Pimp Smokey documentary and stuff like that, the way that it works is these dudes, yeah, they will try and get at a chick, but the whole thing is you have to be chose, right? That's the whole thing. You have to be chose. The woman has to choose you. I can give a couple examples of this. So it's really about the will of the woman to be with the man. If you look at the Mac, the movie, and I understand it's fiction, but this is how it's really supposed to work. And even then, I guarantee you this movie raised a lot of pimps. I guarantee you that in real life, like real pimps. But at the start of the movie, like when dude get out of jail, a chick is coming to him basically saying, look, I'm out here freelancing selling my pussy, but I need some guidance. I would like you to be my pimp. So boom, she gets him in the game. That's how he gets in the game. If you go and watch Soft White Underbelly, that's how a lot of dudes get in the game. A woman actually willingly comes up to you and says, yo, I want you to pimp me. Hey, guess what? It's people close to me who have turned that down. It's people who I know who have had a chick say, yo, I want you to pimp me. And they just didn't have the heart for it, bro. Life could have been completely different if the nigga had said, you know what? I'm going to embrace this pimping. Niggas turned it down because that's not what niggas wanted for their life. I know people who have done that, bro. So with that being said, we move on. You got the scene with Pretty Tony and Goldie on the Mac, right? The one hoe comes over, she choose Tony, and then she choose Goldie. Tony is mad, right? Tony is on some bitch get back here. So there are some pimps in some aspects who really possessive and they won't let a hoe go. They won't let a hoe move or nothing like that. But then you look at something like Willie Dynamite, and when he found out, I think the hoe was snitching on him or whatever the case be, he like, oh, you good. You free. I give you your release. And she didn't want to be released from him. She wanted to still be with him and shit. But, he let her go. So that's the whole, and even then I'll give you more examples, real life examples. Sauce Walka, when he got Bambi, Bambi was with another like Hispanic or white dude or whatever. And when this nigga took Bambi, right? When he took her from the other guy, because Bambi chose up. She chose Sauce Walka instead of the dude that she was with, which over time has proven to be a smart decision. He's doing the same thing Andrew Tate is doing. Bambi is doing the OnlyFans and stuff like that. And he got an OnlyFans empire, and et cetera, et cetera. So, when she comes with him, Sauce Walka is like bragging over the internet, calling this dude on FaceTime like, oh, I got your bitch, man. I got your bitch, man. So when we look at this, what is this? What is going on? When we look at pimping, it's a willing participant. As far as the woman, she is a willing participant in the coochie selling. She is a willing participant in the coochie selling, but not only is she a willing participant, on top of that, she actually has chosen to be with this guy. She has actually chosen to be with this guy and give this pimp all her money. So that's what pimping actually looks like. That's what pimping actually looks like. It looks nothing like the human trafficking picture that I painted before. But the issue with this is you do have some abusive pimps, some controlling and possessive pimps, some guys who won't let the chicks go away, some guys who are absolute monsters who this trafficking stuff could definitely apply to. It could definitely apply to them. Now, when you get past that, the issue with this, as far as, these cases and things like that, dealing with actual pimps, and you could say the Tate brothers or whatever case is, when the chicks get knocked, right? When they get jammed up or whatever for whatever they're doing, and we talking about like street level pimping and stuff, if they don't want the charges, they could say, man, he was forcing me to do this against my will or whatever, and boom, it's a rappuccino. Now we got the whole Me Too movement. We got all this retroactive stuff happening to people like, oh yeah, 16, 17 years ago. And the thing about this, what have I said in the videos about like, man, being under attack as far as famous men and stuff like that? That's where let me talk about what happened, 52 years ago shit comes into play. So when you look at Tristan and you look at Andrew, they were doing the webcam business and stuff like that. They have moved on from that. And what happened to the women? They left them. They're not living the same lifestyle. They're not getting the same money. It's possible that they have some resentment towards these guys, and they see that they shining. They see that they getting money. They see that they out here, blah, blah, blah. And then you have the whole Matrix factor that I'm not going to get into because you'll never hear me really say Matrix. But, you know, if you know what's going on with like the P. Diddy and what's his name? Jay-Z situation where they sued the liquor companies and stuff like that. Yeah, like it's not the Matrix. It's what powerful people have you pissed off? Whose Giuseppe loafers have you stepped on? You know, that's what it's really about when we get to any of that Matrix stuff, because there are different groups, there are different entities, there are different whatever, and they might have government ties or whatever the case may be. They may have billions of dollars, but everything is not the same. Everything is not under one umbrella. Like it probably is, like in a grand scheme of shit we don't know, but there are different entities that make billions of dollars that if you piss them off, like, yeah, they'll do whatever they got to do. So there's probably an element of that in there to some degree, but me looking at the last case that they had in Romania and everything that he said, and it's hard to really dispute what he said because of how ridiculous the case looks and the leeway that he keeps getting because they can't really stick him over there and stuff like that. It leads me to believe that this is bullshit as well. And just when it comes to charging pimps with human trafficking, that shit is bullshit to me. That shit is bullshit. And people who are really sensitive, like they will just go with it. And it's like really like how Sugar Free said, those are emotionally triggering words. And people are sheep. So they're typically going to just go with whatever the media tells them. They don't question anything. And they won't look at the reality of, okay, these guys were just working women who were webcam models. They were all making money. The women got to benefit from the money. It was a business that they chose to be a part of. They were not forced it. They chose to be a part of this business. Now, the thing I want you to understand, do I think that these guys are just great guys and nothing wrong with them? No. I've seen some of the course. I've seen, Andrew talk about manipulation and things like that. I don't think they're horrible, but I don't think they're saints either. But when we talk about human trafficking, man, I don't see it. I don't see it. Now, as far as the other charges and stuff like that, they'll have to sort that out. They'll have to do what they do with that. I'm not speaking on no rap, grape, and all that. I'm not speaking on that. But strictly for the human trafficking, that's what this video is about. Because we know that these guys are running a webcam service. They wasn't putting hookers on the block. It's not what they was doing. So with that being said, let me know your thoughts. I am gone.